Jordan pulled up the address he was directed to by his GPS. His mouth fell open in complete shock at the mansion looking back at him. He was applying for a position to work for the CEO of Pride Industries. The handsome and jaw-dropping Duncan Pride. The position was as his personal assistant. Unless people had been living under a rock, everyone knew exactly who Duncan Pride was. A self-made billionaire who had his fingers in everything from computer software to fashion design. The man was intelligent, wealthy, and drop-dead gorgeous, and didn't look a day over 40. Simply put, everything Jordan could want in a man. But with one snag. The man was completely straight, according to all the magazines he'd read. When he heard there was a position opening up at Pride Industries and it would be working for the CEO, Jordan researched everything he could about Duncan Pride. One thing was evident. Pride was never without some slim, beautiful female model or actress hanging off his arm. Other than his attraction, Jordan admired Duncan Pride from afar, since he started tracking his success. It was only by chance Jordan found out about the job opening and jumped at the opportunity. He admitted to himself that he had a selfish reason for wanting to work for Pride Industries. It was the opening Jordan needed to get his foot in the door in the business world, even if he was starting out as a personal assistant. Jordan would be foolish to pass up the chance. Being rich was not his primary goal. Success and recognition for what he could do were what he was after. Call him ambitious, but Jordan learned a long time ago that success didn't come easily. You have to step over a few people to get where you want to be in life. He practically bit his nails down to the knuckle the day he sent off his resume. It was not a job at the corner store, but working for a CEO with a major Fortune 500 company. The minute Jordan got the call for the interview, he did a more in-depth research on Duncan Pride that was available on Duncan and his businesses. There was not a lot. He could find little on Duncan's personal life, but there was more than enough information on Pride Industries. It frustrated Jordan to the point of obsession that he could not learn more about the man he wanted to work for. The only personal information he could find was that a tragedy had occurred in his life 6 months earlier. He had turned the running of the business over to the hands of his vice president until he was able to return. No matter how much he searched, Jordan was not able to find out what had happened. Duncan Pride had also withdrawn from public life. No one seemed to know what happened. Wild speculations swirled around that he had been severely injured in a car accident, and his company was covering it up. Some reported that he was bound to a wheelchair and would never walk again. Taking a deep breath, Jordan looked at the file sitting in the passenger seat next to him. It was his resume and work experience. There wasn't a lot to go on, but Jordan had glowing letters of recommendation from previous employers along with those of volunteering administrators. He was ready, and he was pretty confident that the job belonged to him and no one else. No need to keep sitting here. The job's not going to come to me this way. Jordan nervously got out of the car, closing the door. Checking his suit to make sure that everything was pristine, he smoothed out invisible wrinkles and lint while praying to the gods that he wouldn't come off as an idiot in his interview. He wanted to make a good impression the first time meeting Mr. Pride, who was conducting the interview himself. Jordan squared his shoulders and looked at the large white-painted mansion with black window trim in front of him. The lawn was well manicured with shrubbery and trees on both sides of the walkway leading up to the door. What he could not understand was why the interview was at a mansion and not at the head office located downtown. Jordan shrugged his shoulders again. As long as Jordan got the job, he did not care where the interview was held. Wealthy and influential people had their quirks. It wasn't for him to judge. Determined that he was ready to meet the man he was hoping to work for, Jordan walked to the red-painted front door and cleared his throat. He raised his hand, ready to knock on the door, when it was flung open for him. A ragged-looking woman burst through the door.
"I don't care how much you pay me. I will not take care of those hellions,"
she yelled, walking, or rather running, down the driveway and got in the car parked next to his, speeding off like a bat out of hell. Well, that's interesting.